back in the early days, unfortunately, we can't do that anymore because we moved our offices. But back in the early days, we used to light up the barbecues with a flamethrower. It was kind of crazy.
Oh no.
Yeah, true story. I will send you I have a picture of that. It's amazing. But when we moved our new offices, we also decided to invest in a proper ball pool, and it's huge. It's like 6 meters and 6 on 5 meters, and we have like 25,000 balls in it. So yeah, crazy. We also added a hammam. We definitely don't do things like other companies.
Welcome to Let's Talk About CX, a show that will help you improve your customer experience.
Hi, and welcome to Let's Talk About CX. As you all know, I have a passion for customer experience. When I'm started, I'm not entirely sure. It might be because I grew up in a shop in Brussels where my parents were working both. And I help them on an almost daily basis. And so firsthand how providing great customer experience leads to more business and more loyalty. And customer experience can be small things like bringing grocery to an older lady around the block or making sure that you have the right product at the right time for your customers. And customer experience is also providing a good experience and a great experience at the early stages of the relationship with a prospect. It is useless to have a great experience and to say, hey, we are leading in customer experience if your salespeople are prospecting like they did in 1999, then you're really killing your brand. And to address that topic today, I'm super happy to welcome Guillaume Portallier. Guillaume Portallier is the founder and COO of Walaxy, which is a bootstrap startup that created a great sales prospection tool. Together with his team, he grew from 0 million to 6 million ARR and from 0 to 10,000 clients worldwide. They now have 35 employees. They have a crazy culture. I hope we'll talk about it today. And at 28, he is the oldest guy in the group. So, Uncle Guillaume, great to have you on the call today.
Hey Sultan, thanks for having me.
That's so great. So how does it feel to be that old?
Yeah, well, I don't feel that old to be honest, but I'm around the younger people. So, by the way, I'm not exactly the youngest one. I used to be for some time, but now we hired more aged people. So I think the oldest is like 32 years old now. So
Okay.
it's okay. I'm not the oldest one anymore.
You're an inclusive workplace. That's great. So Guillaume, I was interested in your take on how you would define customer experience.
Yeah, so customer experience. I think there's multiple definition, and I can think of two main aspects. So the first one is the experience with the product. So when you try a product for the first time, how your onboarding looks like, and how you're teached how to use the product, and how long it takes for you as a user to really understand the product and get the value out of the product. So for me, that's one big aspect of customer experience. And then you also have obviously the customer support. So the people that will be here to help you understand the product, make the most out of the product. And we spent quite a lot of time optimizing both. So happy to talk about it.
Oh, that's great. So how do you? Yeah, because you're providing a SaaS tool that people can buy a license for a month. So how do you get them sticky? How do you keep them within the Galaxy universe?
Yeah, so first, a big point for us is again how we activate the user and how we make the user pay, and then we focus on retention. Obviously, we have, so in the sales prospecting automation market, there are dozens, if not hundreds, of competitors on the market. Um, so it's a really crowded market, and if you want to succeed in a really crowded market, you need to stand out in at least one big important factor. And for us, it was how easy it is to use the tool, and really everything around the tool being simple to use. So as a bootstrapped and product-led growth company, we don't have any salespeople, which is kind of ironic for a company that sells a sales prospecting tool. But yeah, for us, everything goes through the product. And when you start your product, the user, when you start your free trial at Galaxy, you have a series of tutorials video that helps you understand how the product works. And then we have a highly skilled support team that helps you and that is available via the chat. Yeah, and that replies quite rapidly.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think in a previous conversation we had, we talked about the growth teams, where you see that in many startup, the name of the game is playing with paid ads to get people to buy a product. You guys are taking things completely differently.
Yeah, indeed, we have a different approach regarding growth.
Hmm.
Usually, growth teams are all about customer acquisition, and for us, it's kind of the opposite. So if you take the or a funnel for awareness, acquisition, activation, revenue, retention, referral, which is
Mhm.
quite famous in the digital marketing industry. So if you take that funnel and you basically take the A from acquisition out,
Mhm.
it's basically the work of the growth team. So the growth team will work on awareness, on activation, on retention, on revenue, and referral, but they will not work around acquisition. We have a dedicated team that works specifically for the acquisition, so mainly SEO and SEA and ads
Mhm.
overall. And yeah, so we are a big fan of A/B testing. Every time we want to implement something new, we try to A, B, C test things.
Mhm.
So we A/B tested lots of things, whether we should provide coupons for people that are churning, or should we provide 7 day, 14 days of free trial, etc. And then yeah, so that's the focus on of the growth team. That
Mhm.
also helps. So the growth team at Galaxy really has a central role in the sense that they work across all teams. So they will work with the acquisition team on optimizing the blog, the landing page, the copywriting. They will work with the support team to make sure they have the best tool they need. So we as a technical team, we tend to so we use Intercom, by the way, for the chat,
Mhm.
which is a
Yeah.
great tool. It's really a central tool for us. It works as initially it's a chat support tool, but for
Yeah.
us it's way more than that. It's our CRM. It's the way we communicate with our users. We send the newsletter through it. We gather lots of data through it. And also, it's a tool that works great when you have a proper technical team because you can also plug information into the tool. So to help customer support, so you have all the basic information when you're on the chat, but you also have information that we have added, and you can also plug in, etc. So yeah, we spent quite a lot of time thinking about how we could optimize the customer support
Yeah.
and yeah, to answer also part of the question regarding how we make sure people stay on the tool, I think we try to provide the best customer support experience possible
Mhm.
because for us we see things as like the most difficult part of getting a client is actually getting a user. So it's taking someone from somewhere that has no clue about your product and then make him or her sign up to your product. That's the most difficult part. Okay.
Mhm.
And once this person is using your product, you really have no choice but to offer the best possible experience because you've made 80% of the job. So you just need to finish the job.
Yeah.
And so today we have, as you've said, we have more than 10K clients worldwide, and we have a team of 4 customer support. So it is true that we are a bit understaffed right now, and that we are hiring, but we are almost I think we can almost say that we're able to manage 2,000 clients per customer, which is absolutely huge because yeah, we have
Yeah.
10K clients, but we also have 70K active users. So overall, because
Oh.
we have a freemium version, so
Mhm.
we overall have loads of volume. But we spend so much time optimizing the customer support that we have like hundreds and hundreds of saved replies that you can access very rapidly. We push information automatically to the users when we detect they want to do certain behavior, etc. So yeah, we optimize it quite a lot.
Oh, that's amazing. So you're able to deflect a lot of the calls by being able to analyze what people are doing, and at the same time trying to be smart about how do you activate, when do you reach out, and make sure that your small team can manage. How many customers did you say?
So
70,000?
we have
Wow.
70,000 users, active users, but then we
Wow.
have 10,000 clients. But free users. We also, again, to come back to the idea that you've made most of the work when you have one person from somewhere sign up to your product.
Yeah.
That we decided not to differentiate the level of support that you will get whether you're a free user or a paying
Yeah.
user. So
Hmm.
everyone is on the same page. We don't even have prioritized conversation depending on your the number of seats you have, etc. So yeah, we have lots of volumes on the chat support.
Wow, it's impressive. And getting back to your tool, so you have, I called it the sales prospection tool on LinkedIn. Can you tell us more about what Walaxy does and how it
Yeah,
helps?
to simplify, I'd say, so we tend to say that Galaxy is a tool that allows you to contact people, okay,
Hmm.
both on LinkedIn and via email. But and so obviously you might contact people for sales prospecting purposes, but the use cases are almost endless. We have lots of recruiters as well. We have people that use the tool to find a job. We have people using it to conduct market studies, for example.
Hmm.
I've personally used my tool to send you a message to, find out if you were interested in having me on the podcast, for example. So, there's really an endless number of possibilities. And what we really do is we leverage the LinkedIn database, which is absolutely huge and is by far the biggest and most precise databases in B2B business that you can find. You have almost 500 million users on the platform that adds very detailed information about them,
Hmm.
sorry. So where they work, in what sort of industry, how many years of experience, what they are interested in, etc. So when it's no matter your use case, it's absolutely certain that the people you want to contact are on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
And the platform is not really practical if you want to do that in bulk. So, if you identify a list of, let's say, 500 people that you want to contact and you have to do that manually, it's quite tedious, and you don't really have the possibility to have them in a sequence. When
Hmm.
you prospect, when you contact people, you want to automatically follow up if they do not respond, for example, and you can't really do that on LinkedIn. So you need external tools that will help you do that, and that's what Galaxy is made for.
Hmm. Yeah, that's impressive. So it allows me. So that's how you got in touch with me. That's very interesting. So because I did not realize it was kind of a automated message or something. So it felt personal, and I was like, yeah, interesting, Guillaume. And then I looked you up and I said, hey, that's a great guy to have on the show. So how do you, what would be a good tip or a couple of tips you would give for people to be successful using Walaxy?
Yeah, so there's actually two components that will define whether your campaign is working or not, or have great results or poor results. The first one is your ability to identify who might be interested in your product, your service, or even in my case, I was not selling a product, I was not selling a service. I just wanted to identify the people that would be interested in having me on the podcast. So first is
Hmm.
okay, I need to think of the people that might be interested in having me on the show, okay,
Yeah.
on their show. And so for that, I go to the Sales Navigator that I highly recommend, which is a paying option on LinkedIn, but that is almost essential if you want to perform a decent campaign because you have access to loads of very precise filters. And LinkedIn is not really incentivized to provide a good standard search. So the LinkedIn standard search, unless you're looking for a specific person where you have first name last name,
Mhm.
it's not really useful. So first you start from your Sales Navigator search. That I've personally, I search for people that have the title podcast host in a certain region, etc. Then you have your list of prospects. You import it into Galaxy. And
Mhm.
then the second component is your ability to craft a message that will resonate with your prospects. And so for that, you need to have a couple of things in mind. But I would say, first and foremost, being empathetic and being able to place yourself at the position of your prospect. So, namely, okay, if I were my prospect, and I would send that message, how would I feel? How would I respond? Would I respond positively? If no, why? And then, by thinking like that, you're able to improve on your copywriting and your messaging.
Yeah.
And yeah, there are a couple of things to have in mind. And I would say first, in terms of the type of sequence that you would choose. So just rapidly to clarify, on LinkedIn you need to, for those who are not really active users on LinkedIn, so to contact people on LinkedIn you need to be what they call connected. And
Yeah.
to be connected you need to first send an invitation, okay.
Mhm.
And you might as well add a small note that is unless under 300 characters in
Yeah.
that invite. So you send an invite, and if the person accepts the invite, then you're able to send messages. And so we see people sending using sequence that looks like send an invitation and then like 7 messages. And there's no point in sending 7 messages, because if your prospect did not reply to your first or maybe second message, then it's not by adding 5 other, it is just called spam.
Yeah.
And so I would say the simplest thing are the most effective. So in my case, for example, I've used a invite plus 2 messages. So I would say send you an invite with a short description of who am I and why I think it would be interesting for you to have me on the show. I try to keep it short. I mean, I don't even have the space to write a very long message. And then I write a follow up message 2 days after if you did not reply. And then a last message again 2 days after if you did not reply. And, I keep it very short because, we are all receiving dozens and dozens of prospecting messages on LinkedIn every day. So you really want to stand out first. And also,
Mhm.
you don't want to send like a page long message because people don't have the time to read that. And just by seeing how long your message is, they will just ditch it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, keep it short, keep it simple, and try to be in your prospect boots, and it will help a lot create your messaging.
Yeah. Some very good tips indeed. Sometimes you get those love letters, like, and just opening it and looking like this. Oh, this whole text, and like, okay, I don't have time. I'll read it later, and then you end up never reading it. So, completely true. And talking about Walaxy, I'm really interested. So, when we first talked, you said that you had kind of a special culture. Can you tell me more about it?
Yeah, so we have the chance of being young and a bit crazy. And yeah, we're lucky enough to have the possibility to basically create our dream environment. And so when we started the company, we had many motivation factors, but one of them was creating the world in which we wanted to work, like the dream environment. We didn't have a lot of work experience, as you can imagine, because I started the company, I was 25 years old and I was the oldest guy. But still, we wanted to promote where a culture of freedom and happiness. And it might sound cheesy or whatsoever, or everybody trying to tell you and sell you the same thing, but we really thought hard about how to promote this culture into the company. And it wasn't only because we were super nice people that just want people to be happy. It's also because we, like, deep inside, we are absolutely convinced that happy people are more productive people and are more creative people.
Mhm.
And for us as a tech company, it is extremely important to foster creativity, because basically we do two things. We do product, so we do technical things, and we do marketing. And in both, you need to be as creative as you can, because when you're a developer, what you do is basically, when you write code and you're trying to create a feature or create a product, there's not a single way to do that. There are like thousands of ways to do that. And the job of a developer is to find the way, like I would say the most beautiful way. But what it means is that you will try to find the most efficient way to do that. It
Yeah.
consumes less energy, it's more rapid, etc. So, and it's more stable in time. And
Mhm.
to do that, basically, the developer work is to be more creative. Okay, so you really want to foster a creative and happy culture. And so, we've made lots of crazy things. Very early on, we implemented so obviously we were remote policy friendly. You would
Yeah.
decide whether you want to work from the office or from home. We provided electric scooter for every employee so that they can move around the city and come to work without the need to use a car or even public transportation. Because here in south of France, it's definitely the most rapid and efficient way to move yourself.
Mhm.
We also invested in a proper gym where, and it's crazy because we have like 80% of the company that is working out, and it's not like they were working out before coming to the company. It's just that it's so convenient to have your gym at work. And also, something we haven't in mind at the time was, like, sometimes it might feel a bit stressful to go to the gym when you're a girl.
Yeah.
You don't want to be looked at,
Yeah.
or you don't even know how to use the machine. And you so that's something that can refrain people from going to the gym. And here,
Yeah.
you're working out with your colleagues. We even have a coach that comes to the office once a week to help you with your movement, etc.
Yeah.
Back in the early days, unfortunately, we can't do that anymore because we moved our offices. But back in the early days, we used to light up the barbecues with a flamethrower. It was kind of crazy.
Oh no.
Yeah, true story. I will send you I have a picture of that. It's amazing. And but when we moved our new offices, we also decided to invest in a proper ball pool, and it's huge. It's like 6 meters and 6 on 5 meters, and we have like 25,000 balls in it. So yeah, crazy. We also added a hammam. We definitely don't do things like other companies.
Yeah.
But again, we have the chance of being in the SaaS industry, which is
Mhm.
quite a profitable industry. And,
Yeah.
it's hard to replicate that in every industry. And I'm fully aware of that,
Yeah.
obviously. Again, we in terms of HR, we decided to implement a unlimited paying holidays, because we thought, obviously, it's not like people can be on holidays all year round and get a salary.
Mhm.
Obviously, that this would make no sense. But what it means is that, in France, we have 5 weeks of paid holidays, which might sound absolutely huge for American people, but here in France, it's perfectly normal, and people tend to think that it's not enough. And we thought that by adding this possibility to take, 1 days somewhere here and 2 days over there, not just to go and extend their holidays, but more to allow them to, do things of everyday life that is not really holidays. I often take the example of, you're going to the vet for your cat because he's sick, for example. Well, you need to go there in the afternoon on a Monday, for example, and it's not holiday. So, you know if you need to take a holiday, a day off for that, and that day off will not be used for proper holidays afterward, we feel it's a bit of a shame. And again, if you're super tired, you're not sick, like you're not on a sick leave, but you're super tired and you need to take your Friday off. Again, it's not holidays. So we want to offer you the possibility to take that day off, but then still have your 5 weeks in the year to enjoy proper holidays. So this was the idea behind it. And also, we feel like in particular in our space, in the tech industry, there's such a huge difference between people in terms of productivity that for us it would make no sense that to force someone to stay 5 days a week at work if this person is able to do the work in 3 days. If she's so productive that she's able to do her tasks perfectly in 3 days, there's absolutely no point of staying at work for 2 more days. So
Indeed.
that was also part of the reflection.
Yeah. No, I think it's brilliant that you are thinking about that level of flexibility that is required. We have seen with the lockdowns that people, and I think for France it was probably which has a very strong office 9 to 7 culture, not 9 to 5, but the longest you stay, the harder you are working culture. COVID has shown that people are serious enough to do their work, and if they need to do things in between, pick up the kids, do some groceries or anything, people do their job because we all feel responsibility to do it. So it's great, but it's great that you are implementing that. And the flamethrower thing is, yeah, sounds like a crazy barbecue plan, and probably also one of the perks of being in a startup that you can do this kind of things. If you would work for a multinational, not sure that HR would approve.
Definitely not.
Yeah, no. So you have a great culture and a great company. I really enjoyed our conversation. Is there anything, a piece of advice or something that you would give to the listeners before we part ways?
Yeah, I would say for all people that want to start a business, to real I mean, it's a boring thing, but it's really to be focused on solving a problem. So finding a problem and then crafting a solution and then pitching that solution to those who have this problem. And it's really the easiest path to start a company is really to find a solution to a problem, not necessarily a big problem. You can start niche, answering a small problem for a certain number of people, not curing cancer obviously, but small things, and then from that niche expand, etc. So yeah, it's usually the easiest way.
Yeah. Okay. Now sounds great. So I want to thank you, Guillaume, for being here today. I wish you all the best of luck in your Walaxy adventures. A small note for the listeners today. Walaxy will be offering a 2-month trial. I hope I'm correct, Guillaume. A 2-month
Correct.
trial of Walaxy. The link will be provided in the show notes along with some information. So please go and give it a try and say hello to Guillaume. You can reach out to him on LinkedIn directly. Or if you use Walaxy, maybe you can use the tool to connect with him. Okay. So thank you very much, Guillaume.
Thanks, Sultan.
And have a great day.
Have a great day too.
Hey, thanks for watching this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Please like and subscribe as it really helps the channel. Please also check this video or this video as YouTube is convinced that you will like it.